Ladies and gentlemen, we are doing another episode, babe.
Yeah, Marriage and Money Podcast.
Yes.
Egypt and Mike. Okay,
Yes.
if you see me go like this at any point throughout the episode, just know I am in excruciating pain, but we are not going to let that stop us because we're really excited about today's guest.
I told her to hold the right hand on the chandelier, not the left. So now she's got issues going on.
You know what? You know what?
What?
You're crazy.
All right. I'm sorry. We wasn't supposed to say that.
I did not get this from hanging off the chandelier. I got this from trying to pick up a box of tiles because I was impatient. Lesson learned.
AKA
just
chandelier.
Be patient. Can't stand you sometimes.
See, what happened was...
You know what? See, and I was just trying to think.
Let me ask you
gift
something, though, babe. Mm-hmm. What is... Matter of fact, two-part. What's the worst gift you've ever received?
From you or just in general?
No, not from me.
Oh, it was probably from you, though.
Dang.
No, baby.
We went from chandeliers to giving out the worst gifts.
No, I mean...
What? Okay, so fill me in. What was the worst gift I ever gave you?
No, it probably wasn't you. It was probably my Nana. May she rest in peace. She had a habit of... her gift, ideal gift to everybody, was always pajamas and slippers. For whatever reason, she felt that the world had a shortage of pajamas and slippers. And that was her gift on birthdays. On yours, too? I thought you raised your hand. And it was that year where you don't want to say no thank you,
right?
But I really probably had 3 drawers of pajamas. But if I had to go to you really want me to throw this out there?
Go ahead, I don't care. Let me see.
You may remember this. It was about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you forgot my birthday.
Let's see. Go ahead, make something up. Let me see. Go.
I'm not going to make it up because I could tell you forgot my birthday. You ran out and said, you had to run to the store real quick. When you came back, you had a bag. And I saw that it was a drugstore bag. And then you ran downstairs into the basement and came back up and gave me this gift that I knew you just got from the drugstore. And so it wasn't even about whether it was nice or not. It was about the fact that I don't want it because you forgot. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You got me a daggone drugstore perfume. It wasn't even a department store perfume. It was like that.
That is such a
smells
lie.
like a perfume. It was, baby, come on. You know it's true because I let you have it. I let you have it that night. I was like, don't buy me something last minute.
Oh, wait, you talking about the
wings?
The wings. That was the name of the
perfume.
That
I
was
didn't
one
even
of your
look at
favorite
it. I was
perfumes,
taking it
right?
back.
But it wasn't from there.
And you tried to deny it, but then I saw literally the receipt on the counter.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Now I know what you're talking about. Now I know what you're talking about.
So listen, here's the deal.
Yeah.
Now you remember.
Now I remember.
So here's the deal though. After years of being together, Mike and I, we share birthdays in not the same month, but the same week. Mm-hmm. And then holidays, it's always, you give me a gift, you give me a gift. And then so what we decided to do between he and I was stop sharing gifts.
Yes.
If you want to get me something. Not because it's a holiday and you know the calendar says you should. Not because it's a birthday. Because really there's nothing material-wise I feel that I need.
Right. And vice versa.
Yeah. We do for the kids because they're kids.
Right.
But we decided instead for our family, let's focus on experiences.
Experiences and creating memories.
Instead of material things.
Right. Because by the grace of God, we want for nothing.
Yeah.
So that's a blessing, right?
Yes.
So more of doing things as a family, as a couple, more so than exchanging tangible, materialistic things.
And, being able to say, remember the time we did that? Oh, that was great. For the holiday, instead of going all out and filling the tree up with 50 11 gifts, 111 gifts. We decided let's get everybody and just go on a vacation, together. So we have that. And it's been working out well for us.
Amazingly.
You haven't gotten in trouble for buying drugstore bottles of perfume in years. That has.
But see, you leaving out the part that there were extra stuff to it. It was a lot of extra stuff with that. That was the extra.
It was more so that you ran out and tried to act like
to
you
give
didn't
you
just
extra,
run out.
right? And that's when we.
You know what? Anyway, hold on. We have guests. I'm excited to bring them in. They are entrepreneurs, restaurateurs.
Yes.
On Virgil's Gullah Kitchen and Bar. Mwah. They are also authors, and they're married for, 13 years?
13 years together for 14.
Look at that. Juan and G Small.
Yes.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all for having us.
Yeah, so many people we know knew you. We had never had the opportunity to meet you, so I feel like this was inevitable for us to have the opportunity.
Our names are in rooms that we've yet to step foot in.
But isn't that a blessing?
That's
amazing?
a blessing.
That's a blessing.
Absolutely.
Doing something right.
How did y'all meet?
So we met at Joe's on Juniper, which is currently, they tore it down this year, actually.
They did.
Joe's on Juniper, which is a well-known LGBT spot in Midtown Atlanta. I was coming down from down the street with some friends, and some other friends were down at Joe's and said, come meet us at Joe's. So I met my friends at Joe's. It was about 6 of us. And in walks him and his friends, and there was about 6 of them as well. And as soon as I saw him come in, he caught my eye. Like, he was giving me Nelly vibes, right? He had like,
Wait, what?
He had a white T-shirt on. He had some white glasses
this was
on.
14 years ago, okay? So I had the white frame glasses, the
It's something about a
oversized
white tee, though,
T-shirt.
right?
Some of the
Crispy
white
white
tee.
tee.
I didn't like the white frame glasses,
Tim's.
but I was like, we're going to get rid of those. But I saw him, and immediately I thought he was hot, he was attractive, and so they sat down, and coincidentally, he was kind of sitting across from where I was.
Yeah. And my group of friends immediately noticed his group of friends. We got to say that. It was immediate. Yeah. So immediate that my homeboy was like, damn, look at the light-skinned dude.
Why is it always there?
I swear to God.
Why we got to be identified like
That's
that?
exactly what he said. I was like, yeah, he cute, but look at the dark-skinned friend next to him. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So he says we were giving each other eyes the whole time. I don't really know it was the whole time. But he did something that I never experienced before.
What was that?
He walked over to our table, introduced himself to everybody at the table, pulled up a chair like next to me and like hollered at me. Was like, I see we've been exchanging eyes all day. I just want to know, like, get your information or what have you. And I was like, well, I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at your friend next to you.
Oh, my God.
you said that?
Did he really say that?
He said it to my face. And I was like, you know what? I'm glad I'm so secure about myself right now. My friend, he hot, so I'm going to introduce you. And so I walked back to my table. I told my friend what's going on. My friend was just as confused because he saw Juan looking at me the whole time.
Are you
And so-
cross-eyed? Is that what it is?
I am not cross-eyed.
You look
I am
here, but
nearsighted, though, so I can't see far away.
And so I call him back over, and him and my friend, they talk for a short while. Juan walks back over and calls me back over. So, of course, I'm like, nah, motherfucker, you come back over here. I already walked my happy ass all the way to your table. Now you come over here. So, but he kept saying, no, come. And so I walked over and sat next to him, and he told me how his friends had made the claim, or whatever the case may be. And his friend, once I walked back over, he was like, well, he want to holler at you, holler at him.
Right.
So what? Okay. All right. You know, whenever we talk to any couple, there's always a disparity about what happened when they met. It's inevitable, right? Even with us.
Yeah.
There's
My
always,
part is true, though.
Don't even.
There are several
That's what he
versions of
says.
the truth.
That's what he says. But obviously, at some point, there really was a connection.
He was
because
looking at me
No,
like I
absolutely
what
was.
holds him back?
So, I mean,
Yeah.
he is fine. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't deny that.
It's the energy.
Me literally rejecting him was, this is somebody I don't know. My friend walked in and staked his claim, and I'm not about to get in the
on
middle of
him.
that. On him,
Is
yeah.
that how it works?
It was out of
mean,
respect for the
It
friend.
high
was out of
school,
respect
right?
for the friend. I mean, but I was 26. I was young.
You don't know me. How you
Well, I
sticking
was
your
actually
hands on me?
25.
You don't even know me.
But that would be foul if you'd be like, oh my God, they fine. I want to talk to them. And then I go and talk to them. Like, that's
But they
rude.
came and talked to you.
Right.
That's a little bit
Yeah,
different.
But
that
his
same
friend
time-
was sitting right there, so
Right
he's like,
next
I
to
ain't
me.
going.
But good thing his friend ain't no hater.
Right next to me, right. So-
and he's still our friend to this day.
So
Yeah.
when he walked away, he was like, well, shit.
I was not
he,
interested.
He wants you then. And I wasn't interested in his friend.
But now, okay, so let's cut through that. Let's cut
So we had
through
our
that.
first date the next
Juan,
day.
You could tell the truth because clearly you were interested for y'all to
I
even get to the
was
first
interested.
date.
Absolutely.
And he texted me first. I'm home. I'm home. He was already, I'm home. Okay.
Yeah, I was really interested. Like I said, I had never had that type of exchange before.
Yeah.
He was so confident. He was so just like, he just took control of the situation, and like that was fly to me. I was
Yeah.
like, all right,
Confidence is fly.
it is, and it was the same thing. So we had our first date the very next day. I was going out of town. My flight was late. Kept getting delayed, so he met me at the airport, and we're sitting having lunch across from me, and I just was experiencing all of these emotions that I had never experienced before
A
in my life.
connection. A real connection.
I didn't have the language for it. I don't even have the language for it today except magic. It was so many stirrings and sweat and excitement and, dare I say it, love.
Yeah.
Immediate. And my nature is to run. I run from things that are unfamiliar. I run from conflict sometimes.
Yeah.
But I told myself I moved to Atlanta for a different life, for a fresh start.
Where'd you move from?
Los Angeles. I'm from South Central LA. I had
You're
been
from
here.
Charleston.
Yep.
I had been here
Get
for a
you, boy.
year, and so I said, do the opposite of what you would do in this moment. If you truly want a different life, a fresh start, a relationship, do the opposite of what your instincts are telling you, because they haven't worked up until now.
Right.
Because you're still single and you still...
Oh, he's waiting on me.
And I did the opposite. I stayed. I opened up. I communicated. I said I love you. I walked towards the fear instead of running away from it.
Right.
And that's been the foundation of our
Lean in.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just lean in. Oh my God, there's so much power.
Not
in that.
even
Yes,
lean
it
in.
is.
Run forward, because if
Run
you lean,
forward.
you still hesitate.
Right.
You got to run. You got to knock that wall down.
Yeah, I think there. I want to pause in that because there's so much power in what you said. Not just in relationships, just in life
In everything.
and
Yes,
in business.
yes.
You're going to fear. If someone tells you that they are fearless, they are a liar.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
they're not really living and they're not taking any risks.
Right.
You're going to fear, but it's what you do in the face of the fear that allows it to dissipate.
Yep.
You know, and there's growth. There's so much growth into. I call it the lean in. You call it the
Okay.
run forward.
Okay. Look, I didn't call it anything, but now I'm gonna call it the run forward. Thank you. I'm gonna call it the run forward.
I love that. So, did you know he was the one on that first date?
Yes. I mean, so I will say, I believe if there's such thing as love at first sight, this is love at first sight. Like I never felt, people always, I think they discount how powerful love is. I don't need to know you that long to love you. I can love you right now.
Right.
Why does it take? People
Right.
know they don't like somebody soon in a moment.
Oh yeah, the minute they
Why
walk
don't
in.
they know
yeah.
I love you in a moment? And so for me, from day one, it's just been love ever since. We walked in love. I treated him with love. It was love, And so we didn't say it until about a month in, which is still quick for a lot of people. But from day one, it was head first, head in. We were just all into each other from day one.
Like, it was so magnetic and overnight. Like, his friend group had an intervention.
What does that mean?
Saying,
Like they just thought I was doing too much too
"Are you
fast.
y'all moving too
Yeah.
fast. You don't know this guy. Do blah, 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 blah. Because we moved in together after 3 months. Like, we literally been together
Okay.
since
We
day
moved
one.
together after 3 weeks.
I was going to say, so intervention because they thought you were doing too much too
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, they were losing their friend.
Now,
so
let me ask you-
when you get into a relationship, your relationships around you, they change when I'm spending all my.
Can we
so much
come back
time
to
with
that?
them.
Because
Yeah.
there's
Wait.
something there.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: did they think you were moving too fast because of your past?
No. I had. Well, this is my second marriage, so I had been married before, but they had never seen me in a relationship. Now they had seen me in situationships, but they had never seen me in a relationship or
Gotcha.
in a committed relationship.
So
Okay.
you look different, you walk
I
different.
walked
you
different,
talk
and I was
different.
spending so much time with him. He had a key to my townhouse, and so there was like they were losing their friend.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of it too.
Got it.
And I know heterosexual folks experience this, but more so in the gay community, especially with same gender loving men, we have such intimate relationships with our friends.
Right.
They sometimes fill spaces that our lovers are to occupy.
Right. Sure.
So when we get in long-term relationships, like G said, we have to break up with our friends in those romantic, intimate ways.
Yes.
Because that's sacred space for our partner.
Sure.
Right.
And put that on top of a lot of us, especially at that time, we're not used to being in long-term relationships. So how do I understand that that's what he's doing?
Right.
All I know is he's leaving me and he hanging with this dude.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
no, he's building a life, something I don't have any experience in, so I'm gonna intervene. You know?
I do want to acknowledge that when you find the one or the one finds you, however it happens, life changes.
Yes, it
In an
does.
instant.
Your
Yes, it does.
friendship has to change across the board. That's whether heterosexual, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just period. When you decide that you're going to be in a real committed relationship and then marriage, that person has to
Yeah.
come first.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And your friends have to adjust. Unfortunately, I lost friends.
I lost all of them.
You lost everybody?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we had.
Was it temporarily? Did they reset and
So
come
it
back?
was over
or?
the years. It was kind of back and forth. I was living with somebody who I consider my best friend. I mean, I had a lot of close friends around me, but a lot of it just didn't survive the relationship. You know, whether that be, there's no right or wrong reason, right? It was just the end of that relationship, and it cycled off, and you have to be able to accept that too. You know, not all relationships, friendships, relationships,
or like
exactly, and I'm okay with that.
Cycles. I
I'm
love
okay
that you
with
said
that.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so grounded and real. Is that you know
Yeah.
sometimes things really do just run their course.
And that includes the relationships. That doesn't mean it was a failure. It was a successful 3 years. It was a successful 5 years. We have grown. We have gotten to know each other.
Right.
Now it's time for new chapters.
Exactly.
So who asked who to marry who?
Another interesting
Oh,
story.
another interesting story.
And this is in the book, right?
Yeah.
So I always
What's the
say
name of the book?
Black Enough, Man Enough.
Okay.
And so the book is about my struggle with being of mixed race in the oldest black culture in America, being half white, half black. And it's also about my struggle being attracted to both men and women in my journey through that. And really it's just about loving myself and knowing that I'm enough,
Right.
just as I am.
Right.
But we got married actually because we had already lived together for about 12 months. And my son's mother, who had always lived in Georgia, we had always had joint custody, decided that she was wanting to move back to our hometown, Charleston.
And was she your first marriage?
She was my first marriage,
Okay.
my high school sweetheart.
And I just want to interject to say that's one of the things that attracted me to him was how great of a relationship they had when we got together.
Okay.
Like they were co-parenting. It was, in my eyes, a successful co-parenting relationship. They talked often. Like they considered each other friends.
There was a mutual respect.
Right.
And if that wasn't there, I don't know if I would have stayed as long, because I'm a big proponent of, like, if you're a parent, your child comes first.
Yes. Yes.
And so do whatever you need to do to make that child happy. So
And that
was
shows you what kind of man it is.
absolutely
Yeah.
1,000%.
So,
Yeah.
all right, so you see this.
So I
and
see this, so
You're
she-
living together.
We were living together, so my ex-wife decided she wanted to move to Charleston and take my son with her. Initially very hesitant, but eventually supported. But, you know, if he wasn't doing well in a year, we're going to reassess, and he's come back with me until you leave stable. A year fast forward, he wasn't doing well. Long story short, we had to go to court. So I won custody, full custody, legal custody, physical custody, everything. But the judge said that I could not have custody if I was living with someone that could be considered a paramour. Which was
What does that mean?
that
Someone-
means that it's an
Illicit
illicit
lover.
lover, somebody that
I
you
had to go look that up.
Yeah.
Wow.
wait, there's actually a law that says that?
Yeah, so it's a homosexual relationship. It's you shacking up. It's
What?
anything that if you're not married and living with somebody romantically, then that is considered.
So
a
the
paramour.
judge considered that person to be a paramour for your child
It was
or for
For
you?
him.
for me, and so it really was a way for him saying, if you want your child, you can't be gay. Basically.
Because I was going to say, if you're a single mother or a single father, you can get custody
Right.
of your
Yeah.
child, even if you're living with someone
Yeah.
else.
And so-
But
And what
Not
state
if
was
you-
this
not if you were
case?
gay.
South Carolina.
South
This was
Carolina.
South Carolina.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
at this time, there was only 4 states where you could get married. It was not legal. Men didn't get married at that time to each other.
Right.
We weren't even thinking about getting married. Never thought we would get married. I would get married again. It just wasn't something we planned about. But my lawyer was just like, hey, if y'all that serious about each other, go to a state where it's legal, get married. And if it ever comes back on you, you can tell the judge, hey, we did all we can. And so 2 months later, we got married.
so you got married.
We
and
got
that
married,
was-
shotgun wedding. If there is such thing as a shotgun wedding in a homosexual relationship, this will be it.
Literally, we researched closest city.
This will be it.
Darien, Connecticut. Boom. We'll go to New York. We'll get on the train. Justice of the Peace picked us up from the train station, took us to the courthouse. We signed the documents. We then went to the little beach, had a little ceremony. She played. It's so funny.
Beyonce, Halo.
Beyonce Halo.
Yeah.
I'm like, she thinks we're those gays, huh? Like, okay, but it's all right.
The Beyonce gays.
But it
Well, we
was-
are Beyonce gays.
We
though.
are. Yeah.
Everybody's a
I
member.
just thought it was funny.
Everybody's
It was funny. But it was a beautiful ceremony. I never, like I said, I never envisioned getting married.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how I would be transformed in that moment. On the beach, looking to his eyes, exchanging vows, how that would, forever change me. It was real special. But within like an hour and a half, we were back on the train, back to New York.
Wow.
Like, it was quick.
Wow. In that-
13 years, though.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
mind you.
13
And so
years.
it's lasted. Nobody can
Yeah.
tell you what's right, what's wrong, how long, how not long. If this is what we always say.
Yeah.
There are no rules
Yeah.
to marriage. You
At all.
define what you want your marriage to
Yep.
be.
Yep.
Right.
Really.
With that said, how do you feel about the Respect for Marriage Act being passed?
I think I'm gonna tell you something about that. I'm a little disconnected if you will, from the whole marriage. And I think, we should be able to get married, right? But I feel like as black people, and there's still a lot of marginalization that goes on within the LGBT community when it comes to race. And so it feels like we have more struggle. And so I think it's great, but I think there's a lot more work to be done.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I mean, that's how I feel.
So now when you say as race, so are you saying that as a black male, we already have our traumas?
Yes.
And then we add on to the fact of having the same gender roles within a marriage. You have more drama, right? And you bring that together, two of you, and it's like quadruple the drama.
Yeah.
And to get married in America.
I don't say trauma.
Trauma?
Then drama.
Trauma or drama?
Trauma, especially the trauma, because as a black, you're raised as a black man, and you're already raised to hate yourself, right? And so you add on that layer of now we're gay or LGBT, now you even there's more trauma that goes into that. There's more self-hate that goes into that. So now you have two men, grown men, with all this unpacked trauma to trying to have a relationship with each other. And so that's tough. It takes a lot of self-awareness. That takes a lot of recognizing the trauma that is there, because a lot of times we think when we get out of the closet, we become we're courageous now. We can tell people that we're LGBT, but there's so much shit to unpack.
That's just the beginning.
There's just so much stuff to unpack, so much healing to do from the self-deprecation and self-hate that you've had all of your life. And now I'm 30, I'm coming out of the closet. I think that's gone. No.
Yeah.
Now we're bringing this into the relationship. And so being able to recognize those traumas going into the relationship helps.
Is that in the book?
Yes.
Black Enough, Man Enough. And you wrote this book.
Yes.
You sat
it's a
down.
memoir, yeah.
I know what it's like to sit down and write a book. It's not a quick endeavor.
No.
2 years, right?
Took me 2 years.
Very emotional.
Sitting in the closet on the floor, hiding from them, so I could get like just one complete thought, down in the book.
Yeah.
But number one, congratulations,
Yes,
because it's a huge accomplishment. But what is the big takeaway from your book that you want people to know, other than reading it and getting it? What's the big takeaway?
So, as I said, it really is just about knowing your self-worth and knowing that you're enough. And for me, in our relationship, is something we put first as well, is walking away with the passion to be so self-aware about yourself. I mean, self-awareness to me is just everything. And so if you can assess every situation, if I can go into my relationship and know that we can have conflict, but know that conflict is really about to teach me about myself and not so much about what we have going on here, I can focus more on myself and developing myself so we can have a better relationship. And I can love myself more and know that I'm worthy. And so for me, that's what the book is all about. I take you through those lessons. I take you about what I discovered by myself going through those lessons. There's no victimization in it. There's no right or wrong, but it's just my journey on how I've learned why I acted this way in that relationship. It was because something that happened to me as a kid, and being able to heal those things so I don't walk and behave the same way.
You mentioned previously being married, and you were married to a woman. Was there a realization point? Is that why you were divorced, by the way?
So, I got married at 22.
Okay.
So there's a lot of reasons that went into why.
Young, need to grow up.
Yeah,
but was there? What are we?
No,
what am I stepping in?
Nothing. I'm just gonna.
Juan, your language was all up in your body.
I ain't see it.
It was all in your body. Look,
I always adjust
by the
my
way, are you
hat.
from New York?
No, I'm from LA.
Okay, you got the New York
I just
one.
always wear Tim's and New York hats.
I got you. Okay.
I just like blue hats.
Okay.
Not royal blue.
But that body language said you wanted to say something.
Well, it's not my story to tell. That's
Right.
number one. I just have my opinion of it and, my takeaways. And so, yeah.
Okay.
But as I was saying, sexuality definitely plays a part of it, but there's a lot of it that went into that. And me being confused and not accepting my attractions was definitely a part of not me being able to even know who I am, be who I am, be open, be intimate. There's no intimacy there because, I'm blocking out so many things, so we can't even get close. So, it definitely played a big part. I didn't say, hey, we're getting divorced because I'm struggling with my sexuality, so I need to leave the situation.
Yes.
I didn't really accept my sexuality. Even leaving her, I was still dating women. I didn't really accept it to me 5 years after.
Right. And you hear that.
separated.
You hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
you hear that
Yeah.
from people because it's a process of, number one, self-acceptance, and then to actually integrate that into your life.
Right.
Really, you're finally living your whole life, right? But now you have a child because from that marriage you have a son.
Yep.
20, he'll be 22 next month.
22.
22.
But he
Wow.
was a teenager then, or at
He was
least
7.
He was 7.
Seven.
Wow. So he was 7 when this
we
change
met, and he was moving away, and that
happened.
Yeah.
How did you transition your child? I think there's probably a lot of wisdom in that, hearing from you guys how you were able to do it. Transition your life, help your son recognize that this is who dad is. I'm still your dad, you know, but this is who dad loves now, and this is what life looks like now. How did you do that successfully?
And before we give you the floor, can I add to what she's saying to answer that? How is the relationship with your son and Juan?
Yeah, so I'll let him answer that. But to go back to your question about how do we, bring him into this. So when she decided she wanted to move, he hadn't known at this point yet, and me and Juan had just met each other like a month, and so for me it wasn't about introducing him to my now lover. This is who I'm in love with, and this is my boyfriend, or whatever the case may be. For me, I was like, I already know what the environment he's going to be in when he goes to Charleston, South Carolina. I know where I'm from. I knew what I grew up in. And I'm not going to give anybody else the opportunity to tell him who I am except me.
Right.
And so he can form his own opinion and know that this is the source. And so basically and it was advice from a friend. We were just sitting down watching. He was watching SpongeBob, and I said, "Hey," I said,
he loves SpongeBob.
Yeah,
deep conversation we had over SpongeBob.
And I said, "Hey," I said, do you remember the last time your daddy had a girlfriend?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah." Coincidentally, he did, and it was somebody I had dated maybe 2 years ago or something. And he called her name, and I said, "Oh," I said, "Well, I said, Daddy probably won't have a girlfriend anymore." And he said, "Oh," he said, and I said, "Well, you want to know why?" And he said, "Why?" I said, "'Cause Daddy likes guys." And he said, "Oh," and I said, "Daddy likes guys. You know how, boys like girls?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Daddy like guys." And I said, "That means that I'm gay." And he just kind of said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, do you have any questions about that or anything?" "No."
Can you turn the next episode?
And he went back to watching SpongeBob. I mean, he was 7. So, I think the earlier you tell them, and for me, if I was going to perpetuate this story, it was telling him I was doing something wrong.
Right.
And I wanted to live in honesty. And so, of course, he was 7 at the time. So throughout the years, there's been conversations ongoing. He doesn't remember Juan not being around. Actually, he doesn't remember me ever really being with his mom. He doesn't remember anything different. So he's just been a part of the life, and he lived with us, for the most part.
Sure. I think anyone who has a child and brings another person then into a relationship and then into the home, it's always a delicate balance of how do you proceed, and you're trying to gauge, is this going to be a healthy environment? Are they really going to embrace and love my child the way that you need to if you're going to love me?
It's a package deal, absolutely.
So what did that look like?
So for me, once again, they were co-parenting. They didn't live too far from each other. So he had his mom and his dad. So I was not coming in trying to be any of that. What I was going to be, for me, we would discover that as we go along. Having grown up with step parents who come in whooping me and trying to be daddy when I didn't even grow up with my own dad and all of this stuff, I know what that feels like. And that feels like I'm being disregarded and I'm being controlled. And I never wanted to be that in his life. So I didn't know. So I was open to whatever type of dynamic we co-created, me and this 7-year-old who I'm deathly nervous to even meet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think people realize. When I met his daughter, she was 3. I had never been more afraid of a person.
I was so
she was 3,
nervous.
and I was like, "Oh, hi."
Yeah.
And there was a lot of stuff going on in my mind because I'm like, I hope he's not a bad kid, because if he's bad, then it's not gonna work. If he don't like me, then his daddy ain't gonna like me. It was all of that. And so he was such the sweetest boy, so artistic, so smart. So we found our way more like a mentor-mentee initially type of, I can be a sounding board for things that you can't go to your dad or your mom about.
Right.
I can give you a different perspective, because I am not so invested in you as your blood parents are. I can give you different ideas and hope to see you flourish in your own way. And so that's kind of what we built. And what's crazy is, initially though, we kind of had some issues.
Okay.
Because he, on the one hand, expected me to be daddy, But then on the other hand was like, if you try to be daddy, I'm gonna knock you. You know what I'm saying? So it caused a little tension.
What was he supposed to be?
You know what? For me, it was a very, very confusing space, right? Because on one hand, I feel like, and it wasn't so much I feel like he should be a daddy, but I felt like there was a level of responsibility that step parents should be taking because we were trying to follow the rules, right? Well, you should be doing this, and you should be doing this. But, and through therapy, because we've been doing therapy since year 2,
Okay.
she really helped us to, it helped me to accept they're going to create the kind of relationship they're going to create and to stop removing all these expectations and rules on what this is supposed to look like. And on the other hand, I'm, don't even know what 2 dads mean and having him and trying to protect him from being to the gayness and
the gayness,
turning him gay, and because there was that whole side of what some people believed about that. So it was a very confusing state to navigate.
Especially because we didn't have, there's no blueprint.
Right.
I mean, there's not a blueprint really for marriage, but then you have 2 young
Especially
guys.
for you, yeah.
Raising a black man,
Raising a black
and
man.
with the pressures of not turning gay like his daddy.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
And that
right.
It's a lot.
always intrigued me when you would say, because people ask us, what if your son was gay? And you would say, like, I wish to God he's not gay because people going to think I turned him gay. You know what I'm saying? So dealing with those kind of
Which
pressures.
is just my own insecurity because I know that's not possible, right?
Right.
But
But
I know better, but it's still.
It's just,
Yeah.
you really have to find a level of security enough to know that I'm going to be me and do me regardless of even what my husband expects. I can only be me and do me and accept whatever comes with that.
Yeah.
So that's all growth. It happened. In this point in time now, how is the family? How is the child? How is the relationship with the past mother? How is everything right now?
So the 3 of us are amazing.
Yeah.
We're amazing.
We
He's transitioning out of the home next spring. He's an entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
He has his barbershop, and so he's doing great.
Yes.
Their relationship is great. Our relationship is great. Me and the mom still on top.
Okay.
That's
Not, I mean,
Sometimes
we
very
haven't spoken.
unfortunate.
Sometimes
We
that's
haven't
how
been
it
able.
is.
Actually, for his 21st birthday, we finally sat at the table together to celebrate a birthday dinner, and I've always been open to try to do this co-parenting thing, but she's just been very resistant, and it was so much tension at that table. My son will probably never do it again, because it's just the situation. And I'm just the situation just ain't there yet. But we don't communicate, and thank God that we've been able to do such a great job not really communicating with each other since he's been 8. You know what I mean?
Think about it. You said he's 20.
He's 22.
He's
Yeah,
22 next
Yeah.
And so
You kind of home free now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm free.
Who you telling?
Juan was excited with that one.
I'm so free. He ready to move. Okay.
What?
We get our house to ourselves.
Okay.
What is your marriage philosophy? What gets you through?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
And a lot of religious people would say put God first. And for me, I feel like we're all one with God. To get closer to God and to know more about ourselves and see how much God we are is to be self-aware. And so for me, when I know that I can go into any situation we're going into and still getting over the emotions of he hurt me and you did this wrong, da-da-da. At the end of the day, I know he's triggering emotions within me that I need to figure out, and it's just about me learning myself and learning how to navigate. And I feel like really that helps me not to take anything personal. I know he's dealing with his own shit too, and our shit is brought together to deal with our shit. You know what I mean? And so that really feel like it carries us through. And when I tell you at this point, this is really easy. It
That's
really,
how it's supposed to
it's
be.
allowing.
Like,
it's just to
that's
allow.
It's a
precisely what I was
flow.
gonna
It's a
say.
flow. Like to me, I knew that I was with my mate because it didn't feel forced. It wasn't a tug of war.
Yes.
I didn't have to chase him down for love because love was there and readily available. And he did. Well, you chased me at first, but at first, but realistically, it's just organic. It's
Yes, it
easy. It's unsaid. It's understood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The quicker you can get past that ego, because that ego is going to trigger immediately. But as soon as you can get past that and just relax and go with the flow, stop trying to fit so many things into a box. And I think that's what comes up
As
with.
you would
It's
say,
the
allow
liberation.
yourself to be loved. Allow yourself to
Allow.
be loved.
Yeah.
It's liberation for me. Like, I was so needing to be in control. I need to know everywhere you are, what you're doing, who you're with, do this, just so I can feel safe and together. And realizing that causes all of the problems.
Right.
That creates more issues that are not even there.
Yeah.
So for me, in addition to the self-awareness, it's being liberated within myself so that I can be present fully and give you all of me.
Y'all are so grounded.
Oh,
Let me
yeah,
just say,
yeah.
like,
Thank you.
more
Like
than
now,
most.
You
Yeah.
can be, now you can.
Ain't always been like that now, girl.
Was it the
We grew
therapy?
to this.
It was
Therapy,
the therapy.
hands down. She really taught us the purpose of relationships, and that was to learn about ourselves. And we
Yes.
also did this thing called imago therapy.
Imago.
What is that?
It teaches you how you attract your partner to heal those things in your childhood that are unhealed. If your partner is there to show a mirror, to really trigger everything in you. So when those uncomfortable situations come, you know that it's there for you to serve you, to heal those things. So that was a concept we adopted within our marriage, and it has worked hands down. We teach other
Tremendously.
couples about it. We share it, but definitely therapy has definitely taken us through. And now we're to a point we don't need to go anymore.
Wow.
You know,
That's good.
we do have those periods where maybe once or twice a year we
Can you
might
get
get
Cheryl
stuck.
on the phone? We need to
We've
go
been
see
talking about this for a
Cheryl.
long time,
We
and
need
you
to
don't
go
see my point.
Cheryl.
Shout out to
We need to
Cheryl.
go
She
see
was amazing.
Cheryl.
Like now, you guys have also built a legacy in your business,
Yes, you
Virgil's.
have.
Congratulations
Thank you
very
on
much.
that. Businesses work, and it can also be a stressor
Yeah.
on relationships.
Yes.
So the fact that you sit here both smiling, and
I know y'all know.
yeah, we
Yes,
know,
we do.
we know.
Yes, we
Especially when
do.
you work together, especially when you have branded yourself together.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When it's Egypt and Mike, it's Juan and G.
That
like
upper
that's
stand in the middle never
Yeah.
goes away. Okay?
you want to chop that shit up sometimes.
Yes, you don't know.
Please, and stop calling me G. Okay?
I would imagine.
The
So,
dark one is Juan.
Yeah.
What
Okay?
people don't realize is like, all right, so we live together, we work together, we sleep together.
We
from the
like
morning
each
to the-
other.
Yeah,
We're
but
friends,
then
we
you're
have fun.
friends,
That's
you're-
the part.
It's like you share friends too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes like I want my own friends.
Yeah.
I
And I
want
think
my
it's
own
important.
Now,
space.
here's what's important, though. We allow each other to have our own
Yes.
time
Yeah.
and be the person we were before we got into this
Yeah.
relationship, because that becomes a heartache and sometimes a situation where people lose themselves in the
Yeah,
relationship.
you can't. You never.
And
never
now
wanna
you're
do that.
like, I don't like the person I
Yeah,
am.
yeah.
Because you stop going out, or you stop
Yeah.
listening to the music you like, or you stop going to play golf, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, that makes this person unhappy, without stating yourself and say, listen,
Yeah.
Sundays I gotta go play golf.
Yeah.
Or Sundays I gotta,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
can remain available to you in the way I want to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Let me ask you this, though. Does it make them unhappy, or do you not want to say, I want to be without you?
No, I mean, for instance, those relationships where, typically in society, people try to put a man in a box of where, oh yeah, he loves Sunday football. I'm talking about that relationship where the guy, he needs his Sunday football.
Yeah.
But the wife is always nagging, like, you gonna watch your
Yeah.
football game? But that makes him happy, 3 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Let him
Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
But there are fellas or relationships where they're like, okay, 3 p.m., she gonna get pissed off if I watch this game. I ain't gonna watch it.
Yeah, we had
But
some
they start to
people-
build up resentment.
We've had
Trying to avoid
people's-
confrontation.
Exactly.
We've had people
Yeah.
like in this room telling us like, she won't let me. What do you
That's
mean she won't
ridiculous.
let
Like,
you?
you're
Or
not
what
my
do you mean
parent.
he
You
won't
can't-
let
Exactly.
you?
can't
You're
let
not.
me
You don't
do
own
that.
me.
Exactly.
Well, that's the
Unless
thing.
it's to you.
That's the thing is,
I'm just saying.
but no, like we like to end this with one to go on and one to grow on,
Yeah.
and I think for me, what I feel from you guys is just truly a sense of balance, contentment, an appreciation and respect for one another that I acknowledge. You said we didn't always have that.
Yeah.
We had to learn it, but that's what it's about, learning, getting the tools if you don't have them,
Yeah.
to be the
Yeah.
person that you want to be.
Yep.
Not who you are, but who you want to be. And so, so with that said, I just, there's so much love and appreciation for that.
Yes, it
And I
is.
lost track of what the hell I was about to tell you.
You
Hold
said
on.
it. You
Wait,
said it.
No. I was about to drive something home.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. Right here. Is this, to me, being able to be successful in a relationship, for it to go the long haul, you have to be authentically you.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not part-time. Not when I walk in the house,
Yeah.
I got to be somebody else, or I got to worry about what he's going to say or think or pick me apart or critique, or I have to be home by 5. Because if I'm not home by 5,
right.
you have to be able to live your whole entire you
Yeah.
in your marriage as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both people.
Which
means
if
you
you're
gotta
gonna
like
stay
you.
together. Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes you're going to have to reintroduce yourself because
Yes.
you got to also leave room to grow and flow, right?
Every 2 to 3
Ebbs and
years.
flows.
Yes.
It's a new me.
That's true. That's true.
Get into it.
We
It's
go
true.
through.
I keep on liking them though.
Go through. I like that.
You cute enough. What you say, baby? Want to go, want to grow.
You were right there on where the vein I was going in. But I'll add to it, and the thing that I was thinking of is make sure you continue to be the individual that you were always meant to be. For instance, when someone says, I need you to do it this way or do this or say this, that's not who I am. You fell in love with the individual I am. Stop trying to conform me to what you want me to be. Let me be who you fell in love with, right? Yeah. And I'll add or I'll critique or I'll pay attention to the things that you like. Yeah. But let me be an individual.
And do it my way.
Correct.
And do it my way. I just had this conversation with him yesterday. He asked me a question, and for him it was yes or no question, but I answered in the way I wanted to answer.
That's because he was being
you could
smart
have said a simple yes or no. Well, you asking me to change my personality now. That's not how I would answer the question.
She is not a yes or no person.
That's not how I'm going to answer the question.
I'm a smart aleck.
Okay.
We really
need a yes or no.
We enjoyed you guys. I'm telling
Yes,
you, this
we did.
conversation could go.
Right?
So the book is Black Enough, Man Enough.
Yes. You
Yes.
can pick it up on Amazon. Yep.
Pick it up on Amazon.
And literally, even though I got to say this, and it's not because this is my husband and partner and all of that, everybody can get something from this book. Every time I've read it, I've gotten something differently, and I've experienced the gamut of emotions. I've been turned on. I laugh. I cry. My heart breaks wide open. Everything. Every person on this planet will receive a word.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the kind of part.
Now the book is available on all platforms.
Amazon. Yep. Amazon and Apple Books.
And the restaurant, if you guys come to Atlanta, tell them where to
Virgil's
find
Gullah Kitchen and Bar. We got 2 locations right now.
Okay.
Historic College Park on Main Street and Marietta Street, not too far from here.
Nice.
In West Midtown.
Yep.
Awesome.
And we have a third location coming in Conyers. And we also have the Breakfast Boys, who we partner with Lorenzo Weish.
Weish.
Weish. I always say
Nice.
Weish.
Nice.
But who's our third partner that's in Historic
Y'all are
College
doing
Park.
it.
Yes.
That's
Y'all
what
are
I'm
doing
talking
it.
about.
Okay,
That's
Juan
what
and G
I'm talking about.
Smalls. It's a pleasure. Hey,
Yes.
Marriage and Money Podcast.
Yes.
Another good one.
Another good one. Tell your friends to tell your friends to tune in to Married to Real Estate on HGTV. That's our TV show. And listen, catch you on the next one. We appreciate you.